All right, folks, let's just get down to brass tacks here. There are many news cycles that go by where people read a certain item in the news and don't think it's a big deal. They think, oh, well, it's just much of the same, especially as it relates to things that are going on in the Middle East. And of course, as it relates to stuff that might be directly connected to Bible prophecy. Oftentimes, the best gems go right under the nose of most people because we're not taking the time to really analyze what we're seeing coming across the wire. Now, in this case, there was an article that came out in the Jerusalem Post that I read, and the moment I read it, I said, oh my goodness, I need to get online and I got to talk about this because, folks, you can't make this stuff up. I'm telling you right now, you cannot make this stuff up. This is insane. It's actually beyond insane, but I'm going to read this to you because I'm telling you guys, this is crazy, all right? So let's read what this says. The title of this article is Gantz to BBC in Persian. Yes, Gantz to BBC in Persian. Gantz, of course, a defense minister of Israel. I'm going to get into the details of why that's so significant. Literally, all I have to do is read the words Gantz to BBC and then leave it alone. But I'm going to get into this because it's very interesting. The rest of the title of the article is Iran is close to enrichment for nuclear weapon. So let me read the first paragraph of this. It says, a defense minister addressed Israel's abilities against Iran, saying, quote, we have abilities and means that I cannot expand on, and we are ready to ensure that Iran does not have nuclear weapons. Folks, let me read that quote to you again. Mind you, he is saying this to people in Iran through the BBC with a Persian voiceover. We have abilities and means that I cannot expand on, and we are ready to ensure that Iran does not have nuclear weapons. Let me read the rest of the article, or a good portion of the article, because this is where it gets really interesting. It says, Defense Minister Benny Gantz said in a special interview to a BBC journalist originally from Iran on Tuesday that Iran is close to nuclear weapons when it comes to enrichment, but not so close in other ways. He goes on to say, we know all about their diversions and attempts to fool countries around the world. We also expose this information. The Iranian nuclear project threatens world stability and regional stability, and this is a challenge for the security of Israel. Gantz addressed Israel's ability, going on to say, we have abilities and means that I cannot expand on, and we are ready to ensure that Iran does not have nuclear weapons. Now, this is getting very interesting because, as you know, Iran is becoming more and more of a problem for many of the Middle Eastern countries in the region. Iran has always been a problem, but the development of nuclear weapons is something significant. Now, I've talked about this because when you consider the failed JCPOA, which it was a failure from the very moment that the United States agreed to step into it. Understand that the sunset clause should have left Iran with a certain percentage of ability to enrich uranium to a certain degree. The funny thing about it is that Iran has already been able to enrich uranium as much as 15 to 20 times more than what was agreed would be at the end of the sunset clause by 2030. That's how out of control Iran is. And I'm going to just tell you this right now. It's getting worse and worse. Now, why is this such a significant article? And why is it a big deal for those of us that are looking at Bible prophecy? Now, you might say, okay, James, well, of course, Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39. That's the big reason. We know that one day Iran and Russia and all kinds of other nations, a conglomerate of nations, are going to attack Israel. That's not the big reason why I'm watching this one. I'm watching this one because here's the subtlety that can very quickly go under somebody's nose, and that is this. Understand the fact that this is the defense minister of Israel who is going to the BBC. Really, the BBC, if you really want to say it, is an extension of what the European Union stands for. This is a guy who is going to Europe to speak about the problems of his country with Iran. This is a move towards globalism. Israel is running in that direction. By the way, this is the way it's going to work because you can't get to Revelation 13 unless Israel begins to continue fostering relationships with the rest of the world, particularly and especially with Europe. Keep your eyes open, folks, because I'm going to just tell you this right now. The Bible doesn't lie. God's word is true. He doesn't make this stuff up, and it is absolutely amazing. One last comment here, just so that you know. This whole interview was voiced over with Farsi. It was designed to communicate the point of view of Israel using the mechanism of the European Union. Think about that, folks. This is all about the move towards globalism. Things are changing rapidly. And let me just simply say this. Jesus is coming back soon. Make no mistake about it. He's coming back soon. And I'm not ashamed to tell you, and I'm not ashamed to tell anybody else. Be good watchers. Look out for the signs of the time, because that's where things are going. God bless you.